So last year, there were two real steals of the draft. One was Kate Martin, and obviously the other was Angel Reese at 7. But with Kate Martin at number, I can't even remember, she was taken after, she was the Ace's second pick in the second round. We have a player that I think is going to have a really long WNBA career. Because she is a role player. She knows her role. She plays defense. She plays multiple positions. She can play a little bit of the 1. She can play the 2. She guards. She knows how to be on a winning team. All of this stuff. And what if I were to tell you that there's another Iowa player that I think could be the Kate Martin of this year's draft? I don't know if she's going to be drafted. I don't know what situations. I don't know if she really has an interest in playing. I think Sydney Affolter has that potential to be this year's Kate Martin. Because if I've been watching Iowa, and I thought Sydney Affolter really struggled to start the year. Like, when Affolter was starting off the year, she was struggling. But when she almost went into, like, the role player role and let Lucy Olsen be her, Sydney Affolter almost made the All-Big Ten team. Like, and she did everything for the Iowa Hawkeyes. I mean this. Like, a little bit like Kate Martin last year did everything. And by the way, in the tournament, Sydney Affolter was exceptional last year. She was absolutely exceptional. But you've got here with Affolter, she's averaging 8.5 points, 8.1 boards, 3 assists. And again, 1.8 turnovers, not ideal. But you're looking at these just counting stats. And it's not great. But if you want to look at, again, game logs for Sydney Affolter, let's go last season. If you want to go last season when it mattered, she had 12 points in a championship game. She had 16 against LSU, and she had 8 against UConn. So, coming into her junior year, look at her in the championship last year. 13, 15, 16, 8, 12. So she gave you good counting stats in the NCAA championship run. And look, like, you're looking at her 16 points, 5 boards in a game against LSU. And if you're looking at the game right here, LSU, like, she was much better than Van Lith. You could argue that she gave you she had similar, if not better, production than Anissa Morrow in that game. And same with Michaela Williams. So in this game, like, she was the second best player after Caitlin Clark. Kate Martin, her and Kate Martin. I thought Affolter and Kate Martin were both very good in this game, like 16-21. So it was her as the, they were almost the big three. Like, obviously they had Hannah Stokey last year, but like when it really mattered, it was Affolter, and Gabby Marshall was playing all the minutes as well. Like, look at the starters. The only real bench player that played was Addie O'Grady, because she came in for Stokey. Well, Stokey was in foul trouble because it's not easy guarding Angel Reese. But like, Sydney Affolter played power forward last year. She came up against an Anissa Morrow last year. And this year, like, she is I don't even know what position she is. But if you're looking at when Iowa started winning games this year. So Iowa literally, they lost in overtime to Ohio State, and they lost to UCLA by 2. Outside of this awful 5-game streak. This was a terrible 5-game streak, by the way. And Iowa have not lost a game by double digits this year. They've lost by 2, 8, 5, 7, overtime 1, overtime 2. Iowa, it doesn't matter who Iowa are playing. And obviously they beat USC. Iowa have not. What is wrong with my voice? Iowa have not had a close, or have not lost a game. Oh, sorry, they lost one by 10 against Tennessee. But if you're looking at it, when Iowa started going on that win streak, it was when Affolter really stepped up. Yes, Lucy Olsen was great, but as soon as Iowa really start winning games, 13, 11, 13, she's had one game of less than double figures since 29th of January. Which, again, if these were her counting stats she started off the year injured. She came back, was on a minutes restriction, was not great. And with the way she ended the season, if her points per game were what? Like 12? Rebounds wise, she's had games 13 and 14, 11 and 15, 24 and 11. Like, she's killing it. She is a do-it-all. And it's unlike Kate Martin, who's kind of like a 1/2, maybe can play the 3. She's a 2-3-4. And can give you some minutes at the 5. I don't think she can give you great minutes at the 5, especially at the WNBA level, but she'll try. She'll give you minutes like when Sophie Cunningham had to play a bit at the 5 for Phoenix Mercury. She'll try. And as well as that, you're looking at her percentages on the year. So on the year, she's shooting 46% from 3. She shoots 46% from 3, is the best, arguably the best rebounding guard. I know she's playing as an undersized forward, but she is a guard. She's the best defender on the team. The only thing is people are like, oh, Iowa aren't good this year. Well, she was great in their run to the championship last year. We saw Kate Martin be drafted off not the greatest stats in the world. Like, Kate Martin in college. Like, what did she have in college? So I just want to see what her stats are. So if you want to look at her stats in college on ESPN for Kate Martin averaged 13 points per game. Okay, less rebounds, less assists than Affolter, and did it on worse shooting percentages. But her junior year, 7.7 points, and she is becoming a good WNBA player. I don't see why Sydney Affolter can't come in and be that role player. Like, everyone talks about the role players on South Carolina. Like, everybody talks about how Raven Johnson should be, the only reason Raven Johnson's stats aren't up is because she went to South Carolina, and that someone averaging 5, 4, and 2 on 36% from the field should make the WNBA because, oh, her stats look bad because she's at the best team in the nation. I'm sorry. Sydney Affolter was on a team last year that was better than this current South Carolina team. And in the tournament, she averaged like 13 a game. So I don't understand that, like, a player can have these stats at UConn and be guaranteed drafted, but Iowa have made 2 championship games in her 4 years and are a really freaking good team this year. And, like, suddenly it's, oh, her stats aren't good enough. There is no reason why a team shouldn't take a third-round flyer on Sydney Affolter. Like, I don't think there's a reason why a team shouldn't take a flyer on her, because you know what you're going to get from her. You're going to get solid. You're not going to get superstar. You're not going to get somebody that's going to average double figures. You're going to get somebody who might be able to come in for 3-4 minutes and play a role. Whether that be shooting guard, small forward, power forward. Heck, if you're really stuck and you're in a bit of an injury crisis, give her a go at center. She's going to try. She's not going to do well. She's going to get cooked, but she's going to get cooked less than some people. So, for me, I think that team should take a flyer on her. And if you're the Fever, I think with a third-round pick, you should consider it. Nobody knows what Indiana are going to do with that second-round pick because their team is sorted. They just need someone. And bringing in Sydney Affolter, if for nothing else, for marketing reasons, even taking her at 18 isn't the crazy, or taking her at 19 or 20 isn't the craziest pick. It is not the craziest pick, because if you're asking me who are the 2 best players for Iowa, obviously Lucy Olson is. And I like Lucy Olson more for her mentality than Lucy Olson as a player. I think she's a good player, but I think her mentality's better. But whereas for Affolter, I think she's a player that any team should consider with a third-round pick. And I think if you're somebody like the Valkyries, there's a shot. I think there's a shot that she makes a bad, if she makes a bad roster. Like, I don't think she'll make a good roster. I think she can make a bad one. I think if you're a tanking team, maybe you take Sydney Affolter, give her a bit of a role, and get the Iowa money. That might be a thing. But anyway, yeah, that's the video. I'll see you guys.